Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Maker in Mayday. This video is about assembling a small box. This sample image is very close to the version I downloaded. I've searched many times but still couldn't find that exact version again. I really like it. The box has a double row of hinges at the back, while most others have only a single row. It wasn't until recently, when I tried to find the original version, that I realized how lucky I was back then. Most models found on Printable or Maker World are ready to use right after printing. So, why do I spend so much time assembling them? When I bought a 3D printer, what I most wanted to do was print a bunch of small tools to use. I'm not really into printing sculpture models. For me, the fun part is the assembly process. Once it's finished, the model just sits there taking up space. I've seen a lot of people buy high-quality sculpture pieces and then buy display setups to showcase them like a theater. I think they really have an artistic sense. Yeah, I'm just in it for the fun. I don't necessarily want to own things. Life is so short, collecting a bunch of treasures you don't have time to care for is pretty much the same as never owning them. On the bright side, I'll take good care of the people and things I do have. Since I mostly use my 3D printer to make tools, the biggest problem is that its print area is too small. Well, of course, if you have the money, you could buy a machine with specs like a factory-grade CNC. Not enough is just another way of saying not rich enough. Most of the things I need are too large for my 3D printer's build volume. That's why connecting panels showed up on my problem-solving to-do list very early on, maybe even earlier than recycling scrap materials. It's been about a month of designing and testing to get to this current version of the modular box. My designs always seem to have a weird issue: precision problems. It's not something you can fix just by resizing. Sometimes the printer simply can't produce a clean, complete version. So is it because the machine I bought isn't good enough? Or is there a flaw in the design? Either way, after several tests, I decided to go with a straightforward and somewhat crude solution: just use a soldering pen to fuse the different parts together. But this isn't without aesthetics. After studying traditional Japanese woodworking, I used this X-shaped block to properly align the parts during assembly. Even if the print quality isn't perfect, this helps keep everything correctly positioned. Rather than calling myself a creator, I think fixer is more accurate. For example, with this X-shaped block, none of them fit perfectly into the grooves as a snap fit. Every single one had to be heat fused. From an engineering standpoint, bonding is probably the better option anyway. As the structure gets larger, the surface area under stress also increases, and fragile joints can easily snap under pressure. But just looking at the marks I left during the repairs, it's kind of hopeless. If there's a ranking for ugly gluing jobs, I'd probably be near the top. At the time, I thought, fine, I'll accept it. Maybe this design just isn't shareable. How many people could tolerate a final product that looks this rough? Then I came across a 3D pen artist on YouTube. His work was as smooth as something made with silicone molds. Suddenly, I felt hopeful again. Still, maybe, when I have time, I'll make you beautiful, Box-chan. As I kept working on this, I gradually realized that the box panels don't necessarily have to be 3D printed. That said, for these two boxes, printing was definitely necessary. A toolbox holds items of all shapes and sizes, and I don't want the panels to be too flimsy, otherwise the contents could get knocked out during transport. But if the box is just going to stay in one place and won't be exposed to external impact, maybe just cutting cardboard to the right size would be good enough. If durability is a concern, maybe sandwiching a layer of wire mesh in the middle would help. No need to turn it into a full-on cat scratch board. The drawer frame was actually the very first idea I had after getting access to a 3D printer. I previously experimented with several connection methods, which eventually evolved into the current X-shaped block that I now consider usable. But there have always been other, more urgent projects ahead in the queue, so it's unlikely I'll get around to developing the drawer frame anytime soon. That's it for this video. See you next time.